What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined today by the man himself, Sean Petrucci. How we doing today, Sean?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Listen, I can't complain, but also at the same time, I could be better, right? We're kind of in that weird point in the season where, like, the Yankees aren't doing too bad, but they also aren't doing too good either. They're slowly falling out of the race, but we're not going to talk about that. But listen, really fun topic to talk about today. That is Brett Gardner and kind of like what he's been doing for the Yankees this season or lack thereof. And I'm going to kind of tell you guys why he needs to retire at this point. But before we get into that, you guys know the deal. Everyone be sure, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. We're going live before and after every single Yankees game this season, but you guys already know that. You know that already. So back into Brett Gardner. Now, going into this offseason, last offseason, however you want to word it, I was a firm believer that the Yankees need to go into the season, not re-sign Brett Gardner, and just use Mike Tauchman as their fourth outfielder. I think that would have made complete sense because going into the season, you had such high hopes for Clint, right? He was going to be your everyday left fielder. You had Aaron Hicks as your center fielder and Judge and Wright. And then you also had Tauchman as well. So you really had no need for Brett Gardner, especially after you signed Jay Bruce as well, right? And assuming that he was going to play a role in the outfield as well. And then the Yankees re-signed him. I believe it was like a 1-year deal, $4 million with a mutual option for the following year as well.
Sure.
Not too sure. All I know is that he was signed to a contract for this season. I was skeptical about it at first, but it seemed like most of the fan base kind of liked it. They're like, oh, why not bring Gardy back for one more year? He's not going to be playing such a key role in this team. But I was like, just wait until someone gets injured because it's almost guaranteed. And since Aaron Hicks has gotten injured, Brett Gardner plays just about every single day. And I think the main thing is the production just isn't there, Sean. Now, defense-wise, sure, Brett Gardner could still hold his own in center field. However, I think his offense and his bat has come to the point where it's such a liability. You can't keep throwing him out there every single day as your starting center fielder. And I think that's why I'm kind of just pitching this right here. Brett Gardner needs to retire. I think that he's holding the Yankees back so much at this point where every time he comes up in the order, it seems like, one, he always comes up with men on base. And two, it's just a hole in that lineup that just kind of prevents the offense from getting hot at any point. And I'm not blaming the Yankees' offensive struggles on Brett Gardner. However, I'm kind of looking at areas where they could improve their lineup, and center field is one of the only spots where they could do that. And I think the only way they could do that is if Brett Gardner just hangs it up midseason.
Yeah, it's not even the hate thing anymore at this point.
No, it's not.
Like, it's not. It's just like a strictly baseball, like, production standpoint. It's like, I don't think any other team would put up with, like, a guy like Brett Gardner.
They wouldn't.
Like he would not be playing 5 times a week for any other organization. Especially when you have someone in the minors that has a 40 game on base streak.
Yeah.
I think Parks is 30 something.
Parks is 30, yeah. And that's what the key part is.
Yeah.
You're looking at the Yankees organization as a whole, and it's not like it's Brett Gardner or bust in the outfield, right?
Yeah.
It's like we have other options that we could be going to. Hoy-Jun Park has kind of proved he could play center field. Even Tyler Wade at this point, bro, he could play center field. You acquired Tim LeCastro. We were assuming that he was going to be taking some playing time away from Brett Gardner. But now with the Andujar injury, LeCastro's just your left fielder. And personally, if you're going to play Gardner and LeCastro at the same time, I'd much rather have LeCastro in center field 100%. Than Gardner. I think that he's probably the way to go out there. But, I mean, one guy that we have to mention, and I talk about him all the time, and for very good reason, Trey friggin' Ambergy, bro. He has been tearing the cover off the ball in AAA. We're talking about a guy with a plus 900 OPS. It's almost at 1,000 at this point. That's how good of a season he's having. You mentioned the 40-game on-base streak. He's putting up such good numbers, and he's just not getting the call up to the Bronx. And I think right now, my ideal outfield would be Judge and Wright, obviously, LeCastro in center, and Ambergy in left. That's exactly what I would be doing. But it seems like for some odd reason, the Yankees refuse to take Brett Gardner into center field. And it's so past the point of like Brett Gardner's like washed up. I think he's just proving that he can no longer be a major league bat. And that's just what it is. And I don't think the Yankees, and that's kind of like where my whole like Brett Gardner needs to retire argument does come from. I don't think the Yankees organization will ever like give him the A-Rod treatment and be like, listen, Brett, like either you just retire on your own or we're just going to DFA you and kind of make you look stupid, kind of like what they did to A-Rod. So I think that's why Brett needs to kind of like take the high road and just realize I'm kind of blocking these young guys in the organization from flourishing, even Florial at this point if he improves in AAA, and kind of just take the high road and pull a Jay Bruce and be like, you know what, my time's up. I came back this season specifically because I want to retire in front of my family with fans in the crowd. You could do that in the middle of August. You know that for a fact. You don't have to wait until the end of the season and take up a roster spot through the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I wish. Probably won't. I'm praying for it. I wish, but it's not going to happen. And I think his performance has gotten to the point where like the beginning of the season, you had so many people saying like, "Oh, we love Brett Gardner. He deserves a chance." I think it's gotten to the point where like those people that were commenting that or tweeting or whatever, I think they're on board now. Like, yeah, this guy should probably get out of here.
No, yeah,
Like,
and I think it's
he's
very
just not
fair.
good. It is. It's not even like I said before. It's not a hate thing. Nothing personal.
No,
It's just you're not helping us. You're hurting us. You're
yeah,
hurting your whole lineup, and you're blocking probably. I can name 3 guys right off the top of my head that should be playing over him, getting a chance. And if it's because those guys are building trade value in the minors, one, that's stupid because we need help now. Like if you're just keeping your best minor leaguers right down there right now for trade value when the team is 2 games over 500, that makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Bro, it's just so weird because I just don't see how this ship is ever going to sail, right? Because we don't think, and also at the same time, it's like this isn't just a recency bias kind of thing where Brett Gardner's like struggled so far in the month of July and we're kind of just like ship him off. This has been a thing that's kind of been going on for 2 seasons at this point. Let's not forget, Brett Gardner was very bad in 2020 as well. He essentially kind of lost his job, but then won it back to Clint Frazier in that capacity just because Clint had a bad month of September last year and then Gardner had a good month, took it back into the playoffs. But I mean, it's so strange to see the treatment of him and kind of see how the lack of good treatment towards like these young guys who deserve an opportunity. I would kill to see a guy like Trey Ambergy just get an opportunity in the big leagues. And that's also why I refer to like the Brett Gardner retirement route. And I think that would be best simply because even if you do want to keep Brett Gardner on this team and give a guy like Trey Ambergy a shot, one, I would much rather have Tim LeCastro be the Yankees' 4th outfielder on the bench. And I think Brett Gardner would kind of take playing time away from him in that capacity. And speaking of playing time, I don't think a guy would ever get a true opportunity in the outfield as long as Brett Gardner's on the roster, because I think that the Yankees will still end up playing him at least 3 to 4 times a week. We saw that happen with Clint Frazier going into the season. He was supposed to be the Yankees starting left fielder, and then 10 games into the season, he's benched for 2 days against the Tampa Bay Rays, and they play Brett Gardner over him. I don't think that happens with any other outfielder, especially if Mike Tauchman was the Yankees' 4th outfielder. That would have never happened. So I think the bottom line here is this is no hate towards Brett Gardner at all. I think it's just kind of like the realization that you're a 38-year-old center fielder and you're just not providing your team with any sort of production. I think that it would kind of be a very selfish move to just kind of like stick around and block this young talent from kind of getting an opportunity in the big leagues just because you want to retire on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if I was him, like you got to realize at some point, like this is what you're going to be remembered for.
Yeah,
like no one's going to remember
whatever legacy he had.
Yeah, he was one of those Yankees where it's like he's here for a long time. He always played hard. He was always on the field, well respected. And if he just wrote off this offseason going in, everyone would say, "Oh, we love Brett Gardner, great Yankee, thank you for everything." Yeah. But now it's like we're just going to remember him for blocking like 5 guys over the course of his last 2 years from getting a shot.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah, if the Yankees were performing first place or up 10 games, you don't want to mess with anything. Fine, let it go. This isn't a big topic, but like we obviously need help. It's a glaring issue.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like to refer to the most. To kind of like wrap up this conversation, I always refer to the 2016 Alex Rodriguez saga. And obviously the organization holds different loyalty to different guys because A-Rod had a bunch of beef within the organization. But once again, I hate loyalty. I think it's one of the stupidest things. I think you need to look at pure production and what you're doing for me today.
Yeah.
And I think the main difference between the two times, which makes the argument that Gardner should honestly be the one that was booed over A-Rod, because the Yankees were not trying to compete in 2016. They had already sold off at the deadline that year, and we're kind of just going through the rest of the season, just whatever happens, right? The Yankees are still competing for a World Series title this year, and you're not getting your best offensive production. And I think that's the biggest key here, and that's what bothers me the most, because they're actually trying to compete this year, and they're still letting this kind of like retirement tour happen. You know what I'm saying? It bothers me, but it is what it is. With that being said, I guess we'll see what happens with Brett Gardner for the rest of the season. We'll definitely listen. Whatever happens, happens. Obviously, I hope he improves. But at the same time, I think the bottom line is that they need to kind of give him the boot and give someone else a shot, whether if that's through trade or kind of calling someone up from the minors. But that's going to wrap things up for today. Everyone, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. Like I always mention, we're going live before and after every single Yankees game this season, so stay tuned for all that content. Check out all the links in the description as well. You guys know the deal. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Let's go Yankees. See you next time. Peace.